Hello and welcome, budding business tycoonists, and today I'm coming at you with a game where you take your corporation of war and compete with other war corporate bodies until only one is left standing. Yes, this is truly the game for tycoonists. Anyway, this is Executive Assault. Basically, it's a mix of strategy and first-person shooter, which is an interesting concept in of itself. Basically, during the game, you can take control of any unit and basically move them around as if you were in an FPS. So the strategy element is very much like a total annihilation sort of setup. You start with a modular base, you build a power structure, you have to collect resources, and that affects how fast you collect resources as well. And you research along the game on different research paths, and you make decisions that way as sort of the variation in the game as to how your units will be shaped. Say you can research an air facility and build a lot of air units, or build a vehicle facility, and then you've got choices whether or not you want heavy tanks or if you want mechs. Mechs are quite interesting in this game. It's almost like playing Mech Warrior when you're in one of these things. Another interesting thing about the strategy is that you both start out as an executive in a business, and these bases that you're building are bases where you have to defend within them, as well as just being a functional base, as building units and adding to your construction pool. When you want to end the game, you can't just blow up all the buildings, you have to rush inside and storm the enemy corporation's office and kill their leader, which is just ridiculous. And my corporation is called JoshinoSide, the best corporation out there. Other points of strategy are there's artillery units that can fire across the map pretty much anywhere. The first person section of it is more of like an aesthetic thing. It's more to get down in there, be one of the grunts in your massive army and watch the battles unfolding, because the actual combat's pretty naff, because it's just like because it's a strategy game, all the units have different varying amounts of health, and you're basically just pinging away slowly at a health bar, and it's not got very good feedback, but it is absolutely fantastic to look at, especially to be one of these mechs towering over your units and lumbering along. It's quite a visceral experience. The game does have its problems in that it's very rough around the edges. I'm fairly sure there's only one developer that's been working on this game for about 3 years or so. Whilst the artwork in the way it's functional, like the animations in the base, like there's drones that go pick out resources and they go into the base and they go down into this little tube, and the animation's just amazing. And when you're watching all of the robots being built, there's moving parts inside of the robot factories. It's just very intricate, but the actual graphics themselves are very bulky. They look like they're from a game in the early 2000s, or it's just not a modern looking game. And even on Oh My Eyes setting, which is the highest setting, it doesn't have a real wow factor, and I think probably this is due to partly because you're going into first person, and with so much going on, even on my PC, there's a lot of stress. So that's another thing, is that there's a lot of stress on your computer. I'm not getting 60 FPS all the time. Also, whilst the AI is very functional, the harder difficulties are very aggressive at the start of the game, but their patterns are very predictable. They just send out the same patterns of units, and then once you defeat them, they just get a bit... I don't know whether the AI gets confused, but they just stop building, which gets quite boring, and it's just so easy to just get your artillery and fire into different positions on the map so that you destroy what's coming out of their factories without them really being able to get to you. And also, I don't know whether they have a bit of trouble with the research, because I just seem to be able to out-research them, and I have just ridiculous weapons before they can get anything substantial. And I haven't played multiplayer because, to be honest, I'm not really that good at strategy games. I think I'll get thrashed, but maybe I should give that a go. It is only £10 at the moment, which is a very modest sum, and to be honest, I have had quite a lot of fun with it and spent quite a few hours in game. And you know how it is, today's world, it's a cinema ticket's like £6, so £10 isn't really that much, unless you don't have a job or you don't have much money. So it's something to consider. It's quite a bit of fun, and it's something completely different to what you're used to, in that you can take over the units whilst you're playing a strategy game. I know it's been done on a smaller scale, but in a game that's almost like a total annihilation game where you have so many units, it's actually quite epic, to be honest. And there is a nice little bit of visual flair and a bit of quirkiness about it, because it's got these corporations fighting each other and just basically competing with their robot death machines and you are the executive, and you can even walk around your business center as the executive and take the elevators down. It's a very quirky game, and I do very much like it. Oh, something else I would mention is that the maps at the moment are very bland. I don't know if there's a way to edit your own maps, but that would be something that would be really useful. I think the maps at the moment are too small as well. Anyway, I do think it's a good game. Basically, I bought it on a whim because I saw it was a new game that came out, the concept sounded interesting, and the reviews were overwhelmingly positive at the time on Steam, so I thought, I'll go for this, I'll give it a go. And to be honest, I do think it is a very fun game, and the concept is very interesting, but it is very rough around the edges, so it's up to you whether or not you want to try it out. Anyway, I thought I'd just show you this game because it is interesting. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, dislike the video if you didn't like it, and be sure to tell me why. Until next time, everybody, Joshino!